Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 3, chapter number 33, titled Activities of Kapila. Text number 30. Evam sa kapiloktena margena chirata param atmanam brahma nirvanam bhagavantam avapaha evam sa kapiloktena margena chirata param atmanam brahma nirvanam bhagavantam avapaha. Evam sa kapiloktena margena chirata param atmanam brahma nirvanam Montages. Word for word translation. Evam, thus, sa, she, Devahuti, Kapila, by Kapila, Uktena, instructed, Margena, by the path, Achirata, soon, Param, supreme, Atmanam, super soul, Brahma, Brahman, Nirvanam, cessation of materialistic existence, Bhagavantam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Avapa, she achieved, Ha, certainly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. My dear Vidura, by following the principles instructed by Kapila, Devahuti soon became liberated from material bondage, and she achieved the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Super Soul without difficulty. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksulmitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. Okay, we'll just go through the purport bit by bit. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. 3 words have been used in this connection to describe the achievement of Devahuti, Atmanam, Brahma Nirvanam, and Bhagavantam. These refer to the gradual process of discovery of the Absolute Truth, mentioned herein as the Bhagavantam. So we're just in the final verses of this canto, canto number 3. So last couple of chapters we've been seeing the instructions of Lord Kapaladev to Mother Devahuti. So after Kadama Muni, he leaves home, then Mother Devahuti, she takes shelter of her son, Lord Kapaladev, who is none other than an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Mother Devahuti, she puts herself in a very humble position, and she takes the position of the role of a disciple and starts inquiring from Lord Kapaladev, explaining, my dear Lord, I'm in ignorance, I'm tired of being a slave of my senses, being pushed this way and that way. Now I'm taking shelter of you, please instruct me in how to get out of mature existence. And then many chapters of instructions Lord Kapaladev gives to his mother, Mother Devahuti. And at the start of this chapter we saw Lord Kapaladev, he concludes his instructions and then takes permission from his mother, and then he also leaves home and goes away. So now Mother Devahuti, she is alone in the ashram of Kadama Muni, and we've been seeing in the last couple of verses how after Lord Kapaladev he leaves, how Mother Devahuti, she then starts applying whatever she has heard from her son or from her spiritual master, Lord Kapaladev. So she starts practicing and applying whatever she has heard from Lord Kapaladev, and this way she perfects her life. And now we're hearing how she has attained the supreme destination. She's achieved Vaikuntha. And Prabhupada, we'll see as we go through his purport, he'll explain how in the Vaikuntha planets there's innumerable planets, and one of these planets is known as Kapila Vaikuntha, where Lord Kapaladev resides. So all of these different avatars or incarnations we see, they're all descending from the spiritual world, and they all have their own spiritual planets. Prabhupada says avatar means one who descends. So it's not that Krishna manifests some new form when avatar comes, but actually it's the eternal form of Krishna, which is already existing in the spiritual world, and is just descending down to perform some pastime in the material world. So avatar means one who descends. So Nashimadev, Kurma Avatar, Matsya Avatar, Varahadev, Lord Kapaladev, these are all said as avatars, which means they all eternally reside in the spiritual world. Every now and then, when the time comes, they just manifest. They come down to the material world, descend down, and they perform their pastimes, and then they go back to the spiritual world. So Lord Nashimadev, he has his own Vaikuntha planet. In Vaikuntha, Matsya Avatar, he has his own planet. Same as Varahadev, he has his own planet. In the same way, Prabhupada says that Lord Kapaladev, he has his own planet in the spiritual world. And in that planet of Lord Kapaladev, Mother Devahuti, she is eternally there, serving her transcendental son, who is none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So like that, Prabhupada says that there is a particular planet where Bhishma Dev, he goes, and in that planet, Krishna, he manifests himself as, as a warrior, and there Bhishma Dev is engaged in fighting with Lord Krishna in his dress as a warrior. Because Bhishma Dev is in the mood or rasa of virya, of chivalry. That's the mood in which he wants to serve the Supreme Lord. So in this way, there's unlimited varieties in the Vaikuntha planets, and unlimited different forms of the Supreme Lord. And each form of the Supreme Lord is like a particular mood of the Supreme Lord. Like Anshampur was given the example that, nowadays people, they take selfies on their phone, and they post it on Facebook or on Instagram. So when someone is very happy, they're having a party, they take a selfie of them being happy. Or when someone is angry, they take a photo of them being angry, or someone is sad, So just like, a certain person, you can have many different photos of them capturing a particular emotion, this is when I was angry, this is when I was a bit down, this is when I was very happy, this is when I was super happy. So just like for us, we go through different emotions, we go through different moods, and if someone clicks a photo, when we're exhibiting those moods, we can see in those photos us in a mood of anger, us in a mood of happiness, us in a mood of being very enthusiastic. So it's the same way, Krishna, all of these unlimited avatars that Krishna manifests, Sukadeva Goswami explains that there is no limit to the avatars of the Supreme Lord. And just like if we go to the beach or to the ocean, Manly Beach or Balmoral, and we look out into the ocean, the waves of the ocean, they're unlimited. They'll just keep on coming and coming and coming and coming. You'll never stop. So just like the waves coming to the shore of the beach never stops, in the same way, Bhagavatam explains, Sukadeva Goswami explains that the avatars of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unlimited. No one can count. And all of these avatars, they all represent one particular mood of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Just like Lord Nrsimhadev, he represents the mood of anger of Krishna. So if you want to see how Krishna looks like when he's angry, that particular mood is, and that particular form of the Lord is Lord Nrsimhadev. If you want to see how Krishna looks like when he is in ecstasy, then that form is Lord Jagannath. So Lord Jagannath is showing Krishna himself, is Gopinath when he is in transcendental ecstasy. So it's said that Krishna's pastimes are so sweet, so nectarian, that when even Krishna himself, he reads or he hears about his pastimes, he himself goes into ecstasy, just sharing his own pastimes. So that's how Krishna, he takes the form of Lord Jagannath. So as the pastime goes, Mother Rohini in Dwarka, she was asked by the queens of Dwarka to please narrate Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. Because Krishna, he's always talking about these Vrajavasis, even though we're serving him with so much care and love, still he can't forget these Vrajavasis, he can't forget these gopis. At night time he calls out their names. Who are these gopis, who are these Vrajavasis who Krishna can never forget? Can you please tell us about Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes? So Mother Rohini, her position is very unique. She is the only person in Dwarka who has witnessed all of the Vrindavan pastimes. So Mother Rohini, she has this special privilege of seeing all of Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes, and also she is seeing all of Krishna's Dwarka pastimes. So she gets to witness both. When Krishna is in Vrindavan, Mother Rohini is also there. She sees all of Vrindavan pastimes. And when Krishna comes to Dwarka, she also comes to Dwarka. So she also sees all of Krishna's Dwarka pastimes. So both she sees. So then the queens of Dwarka, they asked Mother Rohini that you were there in Vrindavan with Krishna, you please narrate the Vrindavan pastimes. So then Mother Rohini, she picks up Krishna book and then she starts reading Krishna's pastimes. And when Krishna, he hears his own narrations being spoken out loud by Mother Rohini from Krishna book, Krishna, he goes into ecstasy. So if you want to know how Krishna or Gopinath looks like, when he himself reads Krishna book, that form is Lord Jagannath. So Lord Jagannath is the mood of Krishna when he is in transcendental happiness. He is in pure, spiritual bliss, ecstasy. When Lord Jagannath is hearing his own Vrindavan pastimes, he goes into so much ecstasy that his eyes become very big in ecstasy. His limbs, they start withdrawing into his body. His legs withdraw into his body. And in this way, he is just completely stunned in ecstasy when he hears his own pastimes of Vrindavan. So the same pastimes which even Krishna is hankering to read, those same pastimes Srila Prabhupada has given us in Krishna book, which is now freely available for all of us, even for people out there. So Prabhupada is so magnanimous that those very pastimes which even the Supreme Lord is hankering to read and hear, those same pastimes, Prabhupada is freely distributing to anyone and everyone. So in this way, all these different avatars, they all represent a particular mood of the Supreme Lord. When Krishna, he wants to have a swim in the ocean, he takes the form of Matsya. and he goes out and has a nice swim. When Krishna is getting a little itch in his back and he wants someone to give him a back scratch, then he takes the form of Kurma avatar. And he gets the demons and the devatas to come and put Mandara mountain on his back and churn the milk ocean. In this way, he gets a nice pleasing sensation on his back. So this way Krishna, he does so many beautiful pastimes through his different forms of this. So in the same way, Prabhupada explains Lord Kapila Dev, he has his own planet in the spiritual world where Mother Devahuti will go now and serve him eternally. So in these verses, Bhagavatam is explaining the perfection that Mother Devahuti has attained. Previous verses were explaining how Mother Devahuti, she became, after Lord Kapila Dev left, she was no doubt feeling some separation from her son. But Prabhupada explains the pangs of separation she was feeling from her son was not material, but was spiritual. Because her son is none other than the Supreme Personality Godhead. And to feel separation from the Supreme Personality Godhead, that is actually the highest stage of bhakti. Love of God in separation. So Prabhupada said, although externally it seems that she is attached to her son, but actually her son is Krishna, so this attachment is not material, it's spiritual. And actually that's the highest form of devotional service. To serve Krishna in separation, that is the highest form of ecstasy. And Prabhupada explains that although someone who is feeling separation from Krishna, although it might seem like they are suffering or they're in distress, but actually that distress or that suffering is actually the greatest form of spiritual happiness. To material vision, it will look like when Krishna left Vrindavan and went to Mathura, to material vision, it would seem like the gopis are suffering in Vrindavan, that the Brajvasis are suffering in separation from Krishna. Oh, when will Krishna come back? Krishna used to do like this, Krishna used to dance here, Krishna used to sing here with us here. This is where he used to herd his cows. This is where, we had picnic with him. So to material vision, it seems that the gopas, the gopis, everyone is suffering in Vrindavan, in separation from Krishna. But Prabhupada explains, actually that feeling of separation is actually the greatest ecstasy, is actually the greatest happiness. So in the same way, Mother Devahuti, she was on that high level of devotional service. She was feeling these pangs of separation from Lord Kapila Dev, and she started to become fully absorbed in devotional service. So much so, Bhagavatam explains, she was like so busy doing seva 24 hours a day that she completely forgot about her material body. She completely forgot about her bodily needs and bodily necessities. Sometimes we have a slight glimpse of this, like during Janmashtami, Srila Prabhupada Ras Puja, back-to-back festivals. There will be so much seva during the day. One thing after another will keep coming, right from morning to night, and then you get a few hours sleep and again wake up for Prabhupada Ras Puja, like non-stop. For so many hours, we're just completely full-on engaged in devotional service. So at that time, we're not thinking about our body or, about our sleep or our eating, so and so. We're just going with the flow. We're just going with the seva. That transcendental spiritual anxiety is just mainly in the forefront. I have to do this seva, I have to do this, then I have to do that. So for Mother Devotee, it was like that constantly. She was constantly 24 hours a day, just fully absorbed in devotional service. So much so, she completely forgot about her body, about eating, sleeping, about dressing herself. All the bodily needs, she just became completely oblivious. But Prabhupada says, although she forgot about her material body and she was fully absorbed in devotional service, she didn't become thin, she didn't become malnourished, she didn't become sick, she didn't become diseased. So how come? How so? On one hand, she's forgotten about her body, she's forgotten about eating, sleeping, taking care of her bodily needs. She's just doing service, 24 hours a day. So naturally one would think, because she's neglecting her body, she would become thin, malnourished, she would start becoming sick, or get some disease. But Prabhupada says none of this happened. She was perfectly healthy and fine. Also, Prabhupada, he explains in his purports, that for a devotee of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, he personally maintains his pure devotees. He personally maintains his devotees. And as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatamam prapajante tamstateva bhajamyaham. As all surrender unto me, I take care of them accordingly. So if a pure devotee is 24 hours a day engaged in service, then why won't Krishna take care of them? Krishna will naturally give himself and take care of that devotee's bodily needs or whatever he needs. So in this way, Prabhupada explains, on one hand, devotee, she was completely oblivious to her bodily needs. On the other hand, Krishna was personally making sure that she stayed healthy and strong and she didn't have any inconvenience. So for devotees, Krishna, he personally takes charge of maintaining his devotees. There's one pastime of Lord Jagannath. In Jagannath Puri, there was one Brahmana who used to read the whole Bhagavad Gita every day. Every day he would read the whole entire Bhagavad Gita. So we're having Gita Jayanti soon, next Ekadasi, on Saturday, 23rd December, few days before Boxing Day. So that day also we'll be reciting, or generally we recite the whole Bhagavad Gita. It takes 3-4 hours. So, but this particular Brahmana, he used to recite the whole Bhagavad Gita every day. And all the residents in Jagannath Puri, they knew about this, that this Brahmana, he reads Gita every day, and they were very happy. And so he got this name, Gita Pandit. That was like his nickname. The devotees used to lovingly call him. That, the Gita Pandit is there, he's coming. So he was famously known as the Gita Pandit, because every day he would read the whole Bhagavad Gita. And for his maintenance, he would just go begging door to door, just collect few alms. Whatever he would collect by begging, he would feed himself. He would use to maintain his wife and children. But one day what happened? It just started raining. And whole day it was just raining non-stop. So he couldn't go out begging. So no food came for the family. But there was some reserve stock, okay, the wife used. But next day again it was raining whole day. Again he couldn't go out. And now all the food in the house is gone. Then again, third day, again raining. And again no food. But this Gita Pandit, he wasn't anxious, he wasn't distressed, he wasn't worried. He just took it as the mercy of the Lord. He said, wow, this is so nice, it's raining, I don't have to go out. More time to hear and chant about Krishna. So he started reading more Bhagavad Gita. But his wife was in complete anxiety and distress. There's no food in the house, nothing to cook. And look at this guy, my husband, he's just reading Gita as if nothing is happening, we're all starving here. And this guy is supposed to maintain us, he's just happily reading Gita. What is the use of him reading Gita? And his wife comes and complains to him that, what is it, what is happening? Every day you read Gita, why isn't the Supreme Lord maintaining us? You should go out, get some food. And this Gita Pandit Brahmana, he pacifies his wife. He tells his wife, don't worry, that we are servants of Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath, he is our maintainer. Lord Jagannath will maintain us. Have faith. Lord Jagannath, he never forsakes his devotees. And then he opens up his Gita and he shows one famous verse of Bhagavad Gita to his wife, where Krishna says, one who is engaged in my service, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So he shows his wife this sloka. That see, Lord Jagannath is saying in this verse that he will carry whatever we lack. Currently we're lacking food. Don't worry, Lord Jagannath will fulfill our needs. He will provide for us. Have faith. So like this, he showed this sloka to his wife. And his wife, she wasn't satisfied. She was just thinking, this guy is just a sentimentalist. We're just starting here, you should do something practical. Arrange for some food. All day he just reads Gita, Gita, Gita. That's all he does. He does nothing else. So after he had left his room, then this wife comes and she sees that verse which he was showing to her. And out of anger and frustration, his wife, she scratches that particular sloka of the Bhagavad Gita out of anger. That, this guy, we're all starving and he's just speaking philosophy to me. She's just speaking Gita to me. What is the value of this Gita? So out of anger, she scratches that verse in this Brahmana's book. Then soon after, there's a knock on the door. Knock, knock, knock. And then she opens the door and she sees two very beautiful boys, young boys. One is very dark in complexion, the other one is white in complexion. And these two young boys, they have bags in their hands, from Coles and Woolworths, full of groceries, with rice, grains, dal, fruits, vegetables, everything, whatever needed for a big feast. And they say, "Oh, my dear mother, we have brought this for you and your husband and your family. Please accept this." And this Mataji is completely astonished. Where did these two beautiful boys come from? How did they know we didn't have food? Where did they get this food from? And she was completely mesmerized by their beauty. And she says, thank you, but you please also come in. Very quickly I will cook up some nice prasad. You please stay. And you also honor the prasad. But the boy who was black in complexion, he said, no, my dear mother, we can't stay and honor the prasad. Why? Because my tongue is cut. And because my tongue is cut, I can't eat. And then they go away. And then this Mataji, she cooks food, prasad, and when her husband, he comes back from his bath, then he sees suddenly there's so much prasad, and then he asks his wife, where did all this come from? Where did all this bhoga come from? How did you cook? Then she explains this whole story, how these two boys came. I invited them in, they were so beautiful, I've never seen anyone as beautiful as them. When I asked him to stay for prasad, the black boy, he said, my tongue is cut, I can't eat. It will pain my tongue. Then this Brahmana, he understood. And he told his wife that you don't know what you have done. By scratching that verse in the Gita, you have personally offended the Supreme Lord, Lord Jagannath. Those two boys were none other than Krishna and Balaram. Lord Jagannath and Baladev, who have come and personally given us food. See, I told you, Krishna will personally maintain his devotees. Lord Baladev and Jagannath personally came to our house and gave us food to eat. We have done a great uproar. Let us quickly go to the temple and beg for forgiveness. So then immediately they race to the temple of Lord Jagannath. They offer obeisances and they just are about to beg for forgiveness. And when they're taking darshan of Lord Jagannath, it's mentioned that on Lord Jagannath's face they can see red dots, signifying how he's bleeding, because that Mataji, she scratched that sloka of Bhagavad Gita. So they can see red marks on Lord Jagannath's face. And then they beg for forgiveness. So this is one famous pastime. Srila Prabhupada, he quotes, explaining how Krishna, he personally maintains his devotees. So that is how Mother Devavati, although she was 24 hours a day busy in devotional service, she forgets about her bodily needs, about eating, sleeping, dressing herself. Still, Krishna was personally maintaining her. And Krishna made sure she was healthy and strong. He made sure that she didn't become skinny, but she was happy and healthy. So if we just give ourselves to Krishna's service, Krishna will take care of everything. We don't have to worry. So time and again, Krishna, he very vividly proves how he is always there to take care of us. His Holiness Radha Govinda Maharaj, he explains about his childhood, when he was very small, right from childhood, he started reading Bhagavatam. And even when he was going to school as a young boy, he would just read Bhagavatam. Whole day and night he would just read Bhagavatam. And his father was getting frustrated. This guy, instead of spending time learning maths, and this and so on and so forth in school, whole day he's just reading Bhagavatam. What job will he get by reading Bhagavatam? What career will he make by just reading Bhagavatam? How will he pass school? He should spend more time, doing his studies than reading Bhagavatam. He's just reading Bhagavatam whole day. So his father used to chastise him that, you're just reading Bhagavatam whole day. In the future, you won't get any job, you won't get any money, you won't even get roti to fill your stomach. You'll become so poor, you won't have even enough money to get some chapatis to fill your stomach. So Radha Govinda Maharaj was explaining, this is what my father told me, that if I read Bhagavatam, I wouldn't even get enough money to get a chapati to fill my stomach. But now look at me. I've just continued reading Bhagavatam every day, I get 4 chapatis, nice hot chapatis, not just plain chapatis, 4 nice chapatis with ghee on top. Am I starving? No, instead of having problem of not enough food, the problem is too much food. Devotees are feeding me so much food, I'm overeating. Like this Maharaj jokes. So like this Maharaj says, that we just should take shelter of Krishna, we should just take shelter of Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam will take care of us, Krishna will take care of us, we don't need to worry. One who gives his life to Krishna, Krishna, he gives himself to that devotee. If we give our life to Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam will give himself to us. So, in this way, there's so many stories of how Krishna, he takes care of his devotees. We see even with the example of Srila Prabhupada. At the age of 70, Prabhupada wanted to leave India and go to the West to preach. At the age of 70, people we see on the streets or while we're doing door-to-door, they look like, they might die any minute. So when Prabhupada, he wanted to go on the Jaladuta to come to the West, the Mataji, who was in charge of that ship, she was telling Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, this is a crazy idea. I will never sanction you to go to America. If you go, you will die on the ship, Swamiji. Like that, this Mataji, she told Srila Prabhupada, you're so advanced in age, and going on a ship is not an easy journey. Definitely, if I let you go, on the ship only, you will give up your life. So no way I'm sanctioning. But Prabhupada was insistent. Prabhupada had full faith that Krishna would take care of him. And Krishna did take care of him. Although he was going at such an advanced age on the cargo ship, Prabhupada was able to cross to America. And on the way, Prabhupada had 2 heart attacks also. But Prabhupada, he survived because Lord Jagannath Krishna was taking care of him. Prabhupada had even a dream. In that dream, Prabhupada saw that all the different avatars, Krishna himself and all of Krishna's avatars, they were personally there. The Guru Parampara were personally there supporting him, and they were personally there rowing the ship and carrying him to the West. So Prabhupada had that vision or that dream while he was there on the Jaladuta. And even when he went to America, all he had was just 40 rupees and a suitcase full of first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's all he carried. And what was Prabhupada's mood? Prabhupada told devotees that actually I'm not going to America, Srimad Bhagavatam is going to America. And I'm just traveling with Srimad Bhagavatam as Bhagavatam's personal servant. Just like we see, so many Maharajas, they travel around the world and they'll always take a personal servant with them. So that was Prabhupada's mood. That actually Bhagavatam is going to America, Bhagavatam, he wants to deliver the people of America. I'm just going with Bhagavatam as Bhagavatam's personal servant. That is my position. So that was Prabhupada's mood. And Prabhupada had no worries about his maintenance. He doesn't know anyone in America, he just has 40 rupees. On the steamship, he was just maintaining himself just on some dry cereal which he carried from India. He doesn't know where he's going to eat, where he's going to stay. But he had full faith that Krishna, Lord Jagannath, would maintain him, would take care of him. And Krishna did take care of him. Prabhupada said, I started out with 40 rupees, but now look at me. I have 40 crores of rupees. Is there any businessman in the history of this world who went from 40 rupees to 40 crores in less than 10 years? Is there any businessman like that? Prabhupada used to challenge. So Prabhupada is the greatest businessman in the history of mankind, transcendental businessman. And he is the greatest author also. His books have sold more than 500 million copies of Srila Prabhupada's books have been sold in the past 50 years. So if you go on Google and type best-selling books of all time, number 1 will be Harry Potter. That is the best-selling books of all time. But the number of copies of Srila Prabhupada's books even surpasses those of Harry Potter. So Prabhupada is also not only the greatest businessman of all time, he is also the greatest author of all time. His books have been sold more than any other book published in the history of mankind. So how did this happen? All by Krishna's empowerment. So Prabhupada had full faith in Krishna, in Lord Jagannath, how Jagannath will maintain him, take care of him. He had full faith in the potency of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada fearlessly, he went to America without any fear. So Prabhupada explains in Bhagavad Gita that devotees, we should have this quality of fearlessness. So how to become fearless? Prabhupada says, a devotee can become fearless when he realizes the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as Paramatma within his heart. This is how Prabhupada explains, sannyasis are able to freely travel from town to town, from forest to forest, all alone, without any support. How they're fearless? Because they understand, actually they're not alone. Although externally it seems they're alone, these sannyasis who travel town to town alone, from forest to forest alone, they understand, actually I'm never alone. Krishna is always there with me. Krishna is there within my heart as Paramatma. He's always there protecting me. He's always there maintaining me. There need be no fear. So sannyasis, they have this realization of Paramatma within their heart. So that's why they're fearless. They can fearlessly go to any town, village. They can travel through any forest. And so Srila Prabhupada, he had this realization. So that's what Prabhupada is explaining here at the start of the purport. There are three words have been used in this connection to describe the achievement of Devahuti. Atmanam, Brahma Nirvanam, and Bhagavantam. So these are the three levels of realizing the absolute truth. One is Brahman realization, how Krishna is everywhere, everything is Krishna's energy. And then Brahma Nirvanam, that is referring to Paramatma realization. So pure devotees of Lord, they have full realization of Paramatma within their hearts. Therefore, they're completely fearless, they're completely without anxiety. They know that Krishna is there always with me, I am never alone. He is always there as my partner. He will take care of me, He will maintain me, He will protect me. There's nothing to be afraid of. And then there is Bhagavan realization. So Mother Devahuti, she has full realization of all of these aspects of the Absolute Truth. How did she achieve all this? As the translation goes, my dear Vidura, by following the principles instructed by Kapila, Mother Devahuti soon became liberated. So the key is that she followed the instructions that was given to her by her spiritual master, Lord Kapila. So this, Srila Prabhupada says, is the key to spiritual life, or the key to success in spiritual life. How successful we are in spiritual life depends on how strictly and how sincerely and how seriously we carry out the instructions of the spiritual master. To the degree we seriously carry out the instructions of the Guru, to that degree, Prabhupada explains, we will be success in spiritual life. What is that verse? Do you remember that verse? Prabhupada said it's the most important verse in the Shastra. Okay, I'm forgetting the Sanskrit, but this verse translation is that one who has implicit faith in Krishna and the Guru, for him all the secrets of the Vedic literatures are automatically revealed from within the heart. So one time Srila Prabhupada, he asked his disciples, what is the most important verse in all the Shastras? And then Prabhupada, he quoted this verse and said, this is the most important verse. That one who has full faith in Guru and Krishna and fully carries out the instructions, for that person, everything is revealed from within his heart. All the instructions, all the essence, all the secrets of the Shastras are automatically revealed from within his heart. So that is the key to success in spiritual life. How strictly we follow the instructions of the Guru. So this was Mother Devahuti's qualification for getting liberated from material bondage. That's why if we look around, so many devotees, they all advance in different rates, Like we might have come to bhakti same time as many other devotees. But we see so many of the other devotees we came along with, those devotees have advanced so much more in just few years. And others we see, they hardly made any spiritual advancement. So we see different devotees are advancing at different rates in spiritual life. So that means, what is the reason? Prabhupada explains the reason is different devotees, they're applying themselves differently to the process. One person is very sincerely and strictly just following whatever his guru is saying, very strictly carrying out the instructions of Prabhupada. So naturally he is advanced much more quickly. Whereas this devotee or that devotee is a bit lazy, he's a bit lax, he doesn't take things so seriously, he's only half-heartedly carrying out instructions, so naturally his advancement will be like that. Ye yatam prapajante tam sateva bhajamiham. As all surrender unto me, to that degree I give my mercy. So it's not that Krishna is partial to some devotees. No, one devotee is trying harder, one devotee is practicing more sincerely, so naturally that devotee is getting more mercy. So Krishna is completely impartial, his mercy is out there for everyone. But naturally if someone is more sincerely following the instructions of his guru, then naturally Krishna will favor that devotee more. Okay, we'll continue the purport. The Supreme Personality Godhead resides in various Vaikuntha planets. Nirvana means to extinguish the pangs of material existence. When one is able to enter into the spiritual kingdom or into spiritual realization, one is automatically freed from material pangs. That is called Brahma Nirvana. According to Vedic scripture, Nirvana means cessation of the materialistic way of life. Atmana means realization of the super soul within the heart. Ultimately, the highest perfection is realization of the Supreme Personality Godhead. It is to be understood that Devahuti entered the planet which is called Kapila Vaikuntha. So we were talking about this before. Our Lord Kapila Dev, he has his own Vaikuntha planet in the spiritual world. And Mother Devahuti, she is now going to enter this particular planet of Kapila Vaikuntha, where she will eternally serve Lord Kapila Dev. There are innumerable Vaikuntha planets predominated by the expansions of Vishnu. All the Vaikuntha planets are known by a particular name of Vishnu, as we understand from Brahma Samhita. Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam. Ananta means innumerable. The Lord has innumerable expansions of his transcendental form. And according to the different positions of the symbolic representations in his four hands, he is known as Narayana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudev, etc. There is also a Vaikuntha planet known as Kapila Vaikuntha, to which Devahuti was promoted to meet Kapila and reside there eternally, enjoying the company of her transcendental son. Okay, that ends the purport. We'll stop here. Is there any questions or comments? Yes, Guru. Okay, so Prabhu was asking two questions. First is, did Kardama Muni also attain Kapila Vaikuntha, where Lord Kapila Dev resides? So, from these purports, there's no mention. Prabhupada doesn't mention exactly where Kardama Muni exactly goes to, but Prabhupada mentions Mother Devahuti. Specifically, she goes to Kapila Vaikuntha to serve her transcendental son there. And in regard to Kardama Muni, it's mentioned his relationship with the Supreme Lord is that of Santaras. So it's that of yeah, I'm coming to that next one. Yeah. So with Kardama Muni, he was more in Santa and Dasya. I think it's given Dasya. And that was his relationship with the Supreme Lord. That's one of the reasons why it's given that he left home and went away. So it seems a bit strange, right? That Supreme Personality Godhead, he himself is there present in your home, and then as soon as he comes, you just leave home and you go away. So which is quite astonishing. But for him, his mood was that he wanted to serve the Supreme Lord as his servant in Dasya Bhav. But now that same Supreme Lord he's been worshipping his whole life, he's come as his son. And how can he have that Dasya Bhav with his son? So that's why he leaves home and goes to the forest. He takes sannyas. But there's no mention of exactly where he goes. Maybe he goes to Kapila Vaikuntha, maybe somewhere else, we're not sure. And second question about the 9 forms of devotional service, whether Mother Devahuti, she was particularly doing only Vishnu Smarana. Well, there's no mention in these verses or purpose highlighting that she only did that. From what I got from these verses, that she was doing many forms of devotional service. Definitely she must be doing Shravanam, Kirtanam, also naturally Vishnu Smaranam. So there's no mention saying that she was focused only on one particular type. It's given that she was fully absorbed in bhakti devotional service in carrying out whatever instructions Lord Kapila gave to her. Yeah. From what I see that, she was engaged in many. Prabhupada says to come to the level of Vishnu Smaranam, you can't just directly do Vishnu Smarana. Prabhupada says first you have to do Shravanam, then you have to do Kirtanam. If you do Shravanam and Kirtanam, then Vishnu Smaranam will come. So many times, devotees have this question that, I'm hearing so many classes, I'm reading Bhagavatam, but I don't remember anything, Whatever I read last week, I completely forget. Whatever I read in Bhagavatam class, I forget. Nothing sticks in my mind, Whatever I'm reading is, I have a very bad memory, Prabhu or Mataji, How do you remember so many points from Bhagavatam? How do you remember these pastimes? So to key to Smaranam, to key to remembrance, Prabhupada says, is first you have to do Shravanam, which we're all doing, but the second key thing is Kirtanam. Only if we do Kirtanam, Prabhupada says, only then can you come to the next stage of Smaranam, to be able to remember. So, why is it that we can't remember what we are hearing and what we are reading? Prabhupada says the reason is we're not doing Kirtanam, which means we have to repeat what we are hearing and we have to repeat what we are reading. If we repeat what we have heard, if we preach and speak out what we have heard and what we have read in Bhagavatam, then Prabhupada says we will be able to remember these pastimes, these beautiful slokas, and these beautiful points which we hear in class and in our reading. If we don't do Kirtana, if we don't do preaching, if we don't repeat what we have heard to others, then Prabhupada says Smaranam won't come. We will simply hear. Yes, we will make advancement, yes, we will get purified, but in terms of remembering what we're hearing and reading, Prabhupada says, we will find it difficult. But if we do the second stage of Kirtana, which means we read something, we hear something, and then immediately we repeat it to another devotee, to another person. That, today I was reading 4th canto of Dhruva Maharaj. I was hearing how Dhruva Maharaj, before he went back to Godhead, he was thinking about his mother, that his mother helped him in his spiritual life, and he was feeling very grateful, and he was thinking, I should take my mother also back home, back to Godhead. And Prabhupada was mentioning this in the Prabhupada. So if we repeat to someone, then Prabhupada says, because we take the next box of Kirtana, then naturally Smaranam will come. Then there will be like a samskara formed in our mind and our memory, and that particular pastime or that particular thing that we repeated to someone, that will stay in our memory for longer. So, coming to your point, was Devotee only doing Smaranam? There's no particular verse or Prabhupada explained that she was only focused on that. But from the words of Srila Prabhupada, if someone is doing Smaranam, they must have done Shravanam and Kirtanam. One can't just do Smaranam directly. Prabhupada says the most, out of the 9 forms of devotional service, the most important is Shravanam. And that is step 1, Prabhupada says. So Prabhupada says, Bhakti begins with Shravanam. But to come to Smaranam, Prabhupada says you have to do step number 2, which is Kirtanam. Only if someone has done Shravanam and Kirtanam, only then can he come to Smaranam. So Mother Devotee, she is absorbed in remembering Lord Kapila Dev, then definitely she must have done kirtanam also. Definitely she must have been preaching to all the maidservants who are there serving her in her ashram, explaining to them what she has heard from Kapila Dev. So definitely she must have done some preaching. She must have done some Bhagavatam classes to her maidservants, help them also purify their lives and go back to Godhead. So definitely she must have done that also. Okay. Okay, anything else? Yes, bro.
How does one maintain unflinching faith?
Okay, how does one maintain unflinching faith towards the Supreme Lord? So, in the discussion today, we were giving some examples of devotees who had that unflinching faith that no matter whatever happens, Krishna will protect me, Lord Jagannath will protect me. Like the Gita Pandit, Srila Prabhupada, Radha Govinda Maharaj. So how can we become like that? Have full, strong faith that yes, Krishna will take care of me, Krishna will maintain me. So it's all by association, Prabhu. We become like who we associate with. If we associate with devotees who has that strong faith that Krishna will take care, you don't have to worry, you just give your life to Krishna. If we associate with those kind of devotees, then naturally that strong faith and nishtha these devotees have in the Supreme Lord will rub off on us, and we will also start developing that same faith. If we associate with devotees who are the other way around, don't have faith, are doubtful whether Krishna will protect, then we will also become doubtful. So we become like who we associate with. If we associate with devotees who are very fired up, enthusiastic, then naturally we will also become very enthusiastic and fired up. If we associate with devotees who are very lazy, then we will also become lazy actually. So Prabhupada says association is the key. We become like who we associate with. So we need to seek out those devotees who have that faith, and when we take their association, that strong faith in Krishna, how Krishna will protect and maintain us, that strong faith will come within our heart. We will also start acquiring those qualities. And so we should seek out those devotees in our community. And also, when we're reading Bhagavatam, we're actually associating with Srila Prabhupada when we read Prabhupada's purpose. So that faith that Srila Prabhupada has in Krishna, we can also acquire that same faith by associating with Srila Prabhupada, by reading his books. But that will happen if we really go deep and read Bhagavatam, very carefully, soaking in Srila Prabhupada's association. Same way when we hear lectures of different Maharajas, whenever a particular devotee is speaking, along with their speech comes the faith and the love which they have for Krishna. And if we hear a particular devotee's class very attentively, sincerely, without any filter, and we just soak in what they're saying, then that bhakti or the faith that particular devotee has in Krishna, that will come to us actually. So that happens if we hear sincerely. So there's one formula, Radhashyam process, it's called Raga. Radhashyam process, if we follow these 4 principles, when we're hearing class, then the bhakti or the faith that the speaker has in Krishna will come into our heart also. There will automatically be a transference. So R stands for respect. We should have respect for whoever is speaking Bhagavatam. Respect, then A for appreciation. So we should appreciate, that this devotee is coming and he's sharing about Krishna. Then gratitude. We should have gratefulness for that devotee talking about Krishna. Respect, appreciation, gratitude, and affection. We should have affection for the speaker. So if we're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or reading Srila Prabhupada's books with this mood of respect, appreciation, gratitude, and affection, then Radhashyam Prabhu says that faith that devotee has in Krishna, that strong bhakti he has in Krishna, all of that will come into our heart. There will be a transference. Prabhupada saying that we don't need to worry, we should just give our life to Krishna, Krishna will maintain us. That faith that faith in which Prabhupada is writing those words will enter our hearts, and we will also start acquiring the same nishta Srila Prabhupada has or other speakers have. If we read or hear with that mood or attention. But if we are reading and hearing, half spaced out, thinking about other things or, so many other things, then naturally that barrier is there, those filters are there, and that will stop us from getting the blessings, or those divine qualities, or who is speaking Krishna Katha. So just by association, we can acquire these qualities. Just like previously, so many years ago, we were doing so many sinful activities, right? We had so many anarthas. From where we were before to now, we have made so much advancement. And how did this advancement happen? Simply by associating with devotees. By associating with devotees, we went from level 1 to level 3, 4, 5. And the same way, by associating devotees, we can go from level 5 to level 6, 7, 8, 9 to level 10. So we just have to keep associating with sincere devotees or practicing sincerely and wholeheartedly take their association without finding fault in them, without judging them, creating mental offenses. So when we judge other devotees, find fault with them, commit mental offenses, then that again creates a barrier which stops us from getting the spiritual qualities of that particular Vaishnava. But when we associate with devotees nicely, all the good qualities of those devotees will come to us. In Bhagavatam it's explained that every time we appreciate a good quality in another particular person, we automatically get 1/6 of that person's good qualities, like that is mentioned in Bhagavatam. So when we see another particular devotee, he has very strong faith in Krishna, and we appreciate, wow, this devotee, he has so much strong faith in Krishna, how Krishna will take care of him. I wish I could also be like that. And if we go out and serve that devotee and assist him in his spiritual life, then Bhagavatam says, because we appreciated that devotee, and because we have rendered service to that devotee's lotus feet, as a result of that, super soul in the heart will be very pleased, and the super soul within the heart, he will bless us with 1/6 of the good qualities of that particular Vaishnava. So Vaishnava Seva is also very important. According to Bhagavatam, when we serve other Vaishnavas, when we assist them in their spiritual life, we collect 1/6 of the good qualities of those Vaishnavas we serve. Okay? Yes, sir.
I heard during a lecture from Bhakti Goswami, who was talking to Prabhupada's younger son, that Prabhupada, who was going to America, was accompanied by his younger son, and Prabhupada gave him the rupees he had, saying that they will not be needed there. And also Prabhu is asking, who are the Paravasta avatars, and what place does Lord Jagannatha Sri Chaitanya occupy among them?
Can you repeat the last?
The second question is, who are the Paravasta avatars, and what place does Lord Jagannatha Sri Chaitanya occupy among those avatars, Paravasta avatars?
Okay, I'm not sure what Paravasta avatar is exactly referring to, but in terms of Lord Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they're Krishna himself. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in mood of Srimati Radharani, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahayanya. So it's given in Goloka Vrindavan in the spiritual world, the topmost spiritual planet. It's divided into two sections. One section is Krishna Lila happening, and the other section is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila. And it's given for us. Prabhupada explains that for most of us, we will expand and we will participate in both Leelas. So we will expand and participate simultaneously in Krishna Lila and also in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Lila. So we will take part in both. In case devotees have doubt, will I go to Krishna's pastime or will I go to Mahaprabhu's pastimes? So it's mentioned for us because we worship both Radha Gopinath and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will go both. So devotees in the spiritual world, they are empowered to be in multiple places simultaneously. So for most of us, once we perfect ourselves, go back, we will participate both in Radha Gopinath's pastimes and also in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. And Lord Jagannath, he is also Krishna himself. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he used to take darshan of Lord Jagannath, he used to see Krishna, he used to see Jagannath as Swayam Krishna himself. He used to see Jagannath holding a flute with peacock feather, so on and so forth. Okay. Hare Krishna. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Raghursha Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Hare Gaur.